All right, good morning, class, and afternoon, of course. Afternoon to those that are joining me after 12 o'clock. We are going to be doing quite a bit actually today. So, a few things before we begin. And this is based off of what I kind of saw from yesterday's notes. But today, you're going to be going over every single problem in that Chapter 6 test review that was given to you yesterday. Now, some of you, I think, wrote down the homework that you had that I said on the video for you to do, and there were only about 6 or 7 problems, I think. So hopefully you did those, and if not, then, well, you should have, I'll say that much. But that's what we're going to go over today, okay? Why am I going over this today? Because I thought I was going to be here today, but guess I'm not. So tomorrow, meaning Friday, yes, your Friday, this is pretty important. Please make sure you're seeing this, and if your neighbor's not, make sure you have them look up here. You will have a test tomorrow, okay? Because I need to finish Chapter 6, and you guys know I've been telling you Chapter 6 is going to be done pretty soon. How many questions is it going to have? Only 7. It's a super short test, but I need to make sure you guys get that test tomorrow, okay? So because of that, and because I'm not here, we're going to go over your Chapter 6 test review. Oh, of course, one last thing, like it says up here. One last thing before we actually kind of get going here. I got to actually talk about a few things, actually. One thing, this beautiful classroom scores for yesterday. Remember, I grade your classes. Actually, I don't. Your guest teacher grades you on your behavior. And so how well was your behavior yesterday? And this is for all my algebra classes to see, because I have something to talk about specifically to one period in particular, actually. But yesterday's scores, just so you're aware, period 3, you guys came in at a 9. Period 4, wow, you guys came in at a 9 as well. Now my period 6 class, and this is for all my wonderful classes to see, my period 6 class actually scored at 7, okay? And which is the one reason why I know my period 6 class today will be on an even better behavior, because I want to tell my period 3 and 4 class what's going to happen to period 6. If period 6 doesn't get something bigger than a 9 or a 10, then something is going to happen to this class. And I'm going to hold the standards really high for period 6, because period 6 should be aiming at 9 or a 10, nowhere near a 7 like they did right there. So for period 6 specifically, and just to remind every single one of my other classes, you guys know that if the talking level or if the disruptions are really too high and you get a score too low, what do you end up doing? Of course, the stuff that you love to do, writing some nice, long, beautiful essays explaining what went wrong in class while we had a guest teacher, okay? Please keep that in mind as you guys are finishing this lesson today or going through this lesson, okay? And that's all I'll say. And I will say it one more time for period 6. You guys have some high standards to live up to, and that's all I'm going to say, because I expect to see something totally different on Friday. Okay, so before we actually begin, just to kind of give you a heads up, the video tends to go maybe kind of fast, or maybe you didn't catch everything that was said about it. So guess what I'm going to do? This video, I am going to post it online. If you guys, again, go to YouTube. And it looks like a handful actually took advantage of the tutorial. I got 31 people actually saw this thing, so, or maybe a couple times. But that's a lot of people actually decided to go get extra help. And I'm really thankful for you that you were able to go in and take care of that. But this video will be posted online today, so if you think it went too fast, go home, watch it, because you have a test tomorrow. Okay? Remember, where do you search? Well, and actually, I'm sorry, the search box is right there, right? In your search box, if you type in H and then space PUEBLA, it should pop up with my profile, and that profile should have the videos on there, okay? So, making it easy for you, take care of that, okay? You will be needing this sheet out today, so if you do not have it out, please take it out. This is your Chapter 6 test review worksheet. And if the guest teacher needs to pause right now so that you can take it out and everyone has it ready so that we can start the video, then please make sure that, go ahead and do that while everyone else takes out their worksheet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through this whole worksheet. There's a total, I think, about 10 problems. And so we're going to cover each one. If you don't get one of them, guess what? You're going to have the opportunity to go through it. Now, some of you get some of these, so just do me a favor, sit back, relax, quietly, while your neighbor maybe has to write this down if they don't have anything for it. Or maybe it'll help you clarify some of the questions that you might have had. Okay? So we're going to go through one at a time here. And if the guest teacher thinks that I'm going too fast while I'm explaining, or you maybe need the video paused so that you can copy what's on the video, again, let the guest teacher know so that they can pause it, you can finish copying, and then we'll move on, all right? So that's how we're going to work today. First question, and I'm going to use my trusty hand. Which of the following best describes a graph of the system of equations? So we got a system. Remember, this is a system because it has two problems, two equations. And you're going to have these type of answers here, and chances are you're going to get one of these on your test as well. Now, this thing is asking you to tell them, well, are these the same line? Are they parallel line, meaning they're not going to touch and there's no answer? Or maybe they cross at one point? You know, this is another way to show you one of those problems, and I told you these problems already. These problems are like the ones that say no solution, or the ones that say many solutions, or usually they'll say infinitely many, okay? Now, unfortunately, these choices up here don't have these words, the no solution and the many solutions. This isn't up here, but I'll tell you this much. The no solution, if you remember when we did these with no solution, what kind of lines they looked like? And I hope you're saying, oh, they were parallel lines, you know? So this one up here, choice B, is actually the one that means really no solution. Because what happens when you have parallel lines? They never cross. And what about two identical lines? Well, if it's not no solution, then which one would that one be? Let me erase this part. Many solutions, okay? So keep this in mind. When you're doing this problem, these answers actually mean something else too. If they're two identical lines, do you remember how we said when we graphed these, the many solution ones? When we graphed these, it just meant that one line was on top of the other line. And a lot of you gave me that word. You said, oh, Ms. Paula, it means it's right on top of each other. And you're right. It's like it's right on top of each other. So every single point touches. And that means it's many solutions. Okay. Now the other choices over here, they could probably be the answers as well. This just means that it has one answer. And this means that it has two answers. Although I don't know if we've ever even seen any problems that have 2 points. Right? I don't think we have so far. So I'm going to say that last one is almost like a bogus answer. Probably don't even need it. Okay? So I'm going to kind of erase part of this so I have room. Now, guess what the first step is going to be? And if you don't have room on your paper, then I would be doing this on a separate sheet of paper so you can have room and you can see what you're doing. I'm going to say that you want to make sure that both of these are solved for y. So I'm going to do that first. The first one's already in solved for y. I'm going to take the second one, okay? And now that I have the second one here, I'm going to actually do solve for y. So to solve for y, I need to get rid of this 3, right? This 3 right here. So let's get rid of that. Let's divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Remember, when you divide by something, you got to divide everything. 3's cancel. Y equals 9 divided by 3 is 3x plus a 3. Okay. And so here's your equation in slope-intercept form. Remember, this is the slope right here. The slope is a 3. And your intercept, this is where you start, is actually another 3. Now, look at this one, and look at the one up here. What do you notice about them? And let me write it down here. Let me write actually the first one that was up there. Let's compare these. I hope you're seeing a big pattern here, actually. What do you notice about these? Well, they both have this thing here. What is this thing right here? And I hope you're saying they both have the same slope, Mr. Puebla. Same slope, but they have different what? Hope you said y-intercepts, okay? These are different y-intercepts, different slopes. Now, if I was to graph these, what kind of lines would these be? And I hope you said, if you were to graph these, Mr. Pulla, these would make parallel lines, okay? Now, if you're not sure on a test that they make parallel lines, then draw like a little picture, or maybe use a graph on another question and graph the actual answer. Watch, let me graph this top one first, real quickly. It's going to look something like that. And the second one is going to look, again, start at 1, something like that. They're parallel. That means they're never going to touch. Okay? Your answer here should be choice B. Make sense? I hope it did. Oh.
Whoa, dude.
Exactly. My little cat friend there. We will be seeing the cat friend just to keep your attention intact while we do this whole lesson, okay? Next one. I'm sure some of you are still giggling about the cat. Number 2. Solve by any method. Well, this is a system, and it looks like you need to probably graph this. Well, there's a graph here, so I'm assuming you can either graph it, maybe you can even do substitution. I'm going to tell you right now, this looks like it has a fraction right there. I'm going to say this is probably better off me graphing it. So to graph this, I'm going to ask you to change both of them to the y equals mx plus b. Okay, let's change both of these. I'm going to start out by writing the first equation. And then I'm going to get rid of the 5. So I'm going to do plus 5, plus 5. Okay, that just means now I'm at y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. Okay, that one's done. Let's go to the next one. The next one looks like I have x equals y minus 2. Well, let me make a little divider here just to kind of separate them. Okay, I need to solve for y. I need to solve for this one right here. So that means it'd probably be easier, instead of moving the y this way and this way, why don't I just move the 2 this way and then I'll be done. Okay, so let's do that. My answer here is y equals x plus 2. Now, I'd rather turn it around, okay, because I don't like writing it this way. So let me turn it around, and I'm going to write it over here because otherwise it's going to be too low for some of you to see. Y equals x plus 2. Okay, now we can graph this. So to graph this, we have the top one right here, the one in blue. We have a slope of negative 1/2, and we have a starting point at 5. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that one for you. Start at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it says down 1, positive 2. Down 1, let me show you what they have. Some of you need it. Down 1, positive 2. Down 1, positive 2. Down 1, and we can't fit anymore, so I'll just do 2 points. Down 1, positive 2. Down 1, positive 2, and that'll be it. Draw my line. I'm going to use the actual little tool that I have here, guys, to draw my line perfectly. There's my first one. Now let's do the next one. Next one says start at 2, and my slope is 1 over 1. Okay? So start at 2, and then my slope is run right here. Slope is, let me tilt this so you can see better. Rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1, rise, run, rise, run, rise, run, right? It's going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. I hope you saw the answer. I just saw where it hit. Okay, draw your line. And I hope you see the answer. The solution to this is only 1 point, and it's right there in the dead center. That point is going to be, what is it? It's 2, 4. 2, 4 is your final answer, okay? So the answer to this is 2, 4. On a test, this is what it'll look like. It'll say, it'll give you 4 choices, and this will be one of them. Okay, that's how your answer should look. And that one is done. Can we bring out the cat so the cat can verify this one? Did this work? Yes, sir.
Whoa.
Let's move on.
Dude.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Again, if the guest teacher thinks I'm going too fast, or you need to pause the video to show the work, so you can finish copying it, please let the guest teacher know. Okay. Let's look at this one. It says solve by elimination. So I want you to use elimination for this one. And to make this, let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. Remember, elimination means when you're either subtracting down or adding down, so you can cancel one of these out right away. And right now, none of these cancel out, and these don't cancel out either. So we actually need to change this. And I'm going to say you can either put like a 3 right here and make these all, times it all by 3. Or the top one, actually, you can make this one what? What number could I make that 2 right there? this 2 can be made into a 4, and then if I have that as a 4, I can cancel it with this bottom 4. So that's what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to multiply this top part, actually the whole part on the top. Remember, you have to multiply by a number. So how do I make it into a 4? And you probably said times 2, okay? Let me go ahead and write down, I'm going to rewrite the problem so it's a little bit bigger for me, okay? Oh, and the hand's in the way, isn't it? There he goes. Equals 34. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the top one and we're going to multiply the top one by, hope you remember, we said by 2. So I want you to share this 2 with everything. Okay, we're sharing it. And so I'm going to get, I'm going to write it, when I'm done sharing here, guys, I'm going to write it right below here, okay? So it's underneath this one. So the first one is 6x minus 4y. It's a minus. Please make sure you write that minus. Equals 8. Okay, now we're going to add down or subtract down. What makes more sense? Do not add down. Well, actually, I'm sorry. If you subtract down, this will give you negative 5x. And if you subtract down here, that's going to give you positive 8y. So I can't subtract down. I got to add down. We're going to add down, okay? If you add down, you get 7x. If you add down with the 4y and the negative 4y, that's a nothing. That's 0. Equals 34 minus 8. What's that? Got that? What is it? And I had to pause there for a second. Sorry, guys. So you're going to get 34 minus 8. And what's that give you? Some of you are probably thinking, wait, Mr. Polo, looks like I'm going to get a fraction here. 7 doesn't go into 26. That's absolutely right. You're right. Sometimes you're going to get this. Okay. So here I get x equals, and that's going to be a fraction. You know what we're going to do? This is going to be a little tricky, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this like a fraction. Okay. And what I like to do is, instead of plugging that back in, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the equation one more time. I'm going to do this a little bit of a long way, guys, okay? I apologize for this one. But here's what I'm going to do now. Now I'm going to try and cancel out the x's, okay? I want to see what happens here. So now let's try and let's cancel out the x's. So to cancel out the x's, to cancel out these, I need to make this one a 3. Okay, normally I would plug in the answer that I just found out, but you know what? I don't want to plug in a fraction. So let me try and do it this way instead to see if I can kind of make my life a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to do it this way. Let's see what we get. It's going to be 3x, and I shouldn't have drawn that line actually right here, but I should put it down here. 3x plus 12y equals, what's 34 times 3? You know what? I'm going to do the math for you. It's going to be right up here. 34 times 3. 3 times 4, I got 102, right? Wait, not 102. Am I doing that right? Of course I am. Okay, 102. And then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract down. So now we can subtract down. 3x minus 3x is nothing. That's 0. Negative 2y minus 12y, that's negative 14y, equals 4 minus 102. What is that right there? 4 minus 102. I hope you said 98. Actually, that's going to be negative 98. Right? And now I have a 98 and I have a 14, actually. What's that going to be? Divide by negative 14, divide by negative 14. Y equals 7. That one worked out nicely. What would have happened if you had plugged in that 26 over 7? Well, that would have probably caused a lot of little headaches up there. So that's why I kind of didn't do it that way. Instead, I did it this way, guys. So this is one of those exceptions where I'm going to probably tell you to do it this way. There's your 2 answers, okay? X equals 26 over 7 and y equals a 7. Okay, we're going to move on, guys, to the next one. That one took a little bit, didn't it? Oh my goodness gracious. Do you guys see what happened here? I don't know if anyone caught this. Did anyone catch this? I was looking at the answer here, and this made no sense. And then I told my brain just kind of signaled on top of my brain, told me to stop. And when I stopped, I said, I need to look at my answer again. This made no sense to me. And I wonder if anyone caught this mistake. If someone caught the mistake, I'd ask the guest teacher to kind of write down your name, see if I can reward you, but I don't think anyone caught it. Did anyone catch a mistake over on this side? This side over here was done correctly, actually, because I got 7. And when I plug in the 7 up here, right here, 4 times 7 is 28, and then I do minus 28, and then I get x equals 6. Oh, wait a minute, that didn't match over here, and so that's like a big red light to me, it's a stop sign. Something happened wrong over here. And I hope you spotted the mistake. Look, I was supposed to add down, add down, add down. Did I add down right here? Nope, I made a mistake. I subtracted down, okay? Of course I did that on purpose to make sure that you guys were paying attention, because I always do. I never make any mistakes, right? So this should have been a plus, guys. That would have given you, what did I giving you here? 42, okay? And actually not, did I make another mistake right there? It is 42. And then 6x divided by 6. Oh, no, there's another mistake. Look at that, I'm making tons of mistakes here in A. I apologize, guys. That's 7x divided by 7, x equals a 6. Wow, I'm all about mistakes today, ain't I? Answer is 6, 7. If you have that answer already, great. Guess what? You just watched me make mistake after mistake, and you did an amazing job, okay? Let's move on here, guys, because we're running out of time here. Next one, substitution. So what we're going to do is take, let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to start going a little bit faster here to try and keep up. Substitution. Look, this one's already solved for y. It says y equals this. So I want you to put this right here where the y is, okay? Let's do that. So I'm going to take this, plug it in right there. 3x minus 2 minus 2x equals negative 5. Then solve this. It's going to be, let's combine like terms. Combine 3x minus 2x. That's 1x minus 2 equals negative 5. Plus 2, 1x equals negative 3. And I'm going to leave it like that. X equals negative 3. You could have divided by 1, but really anything that you divide by 1 is the same thing, right? There's your answer. Plug it back in. I'm going to use the top one, okay? And we're going to plug it in, negative 3. 3 times negative 3 minus 2 equals y. That's going to be negative 9 minus 2 equals y. And do the do. Don't change. Opposite. Opposite. Negative 11 equals y. Okay, there are your two answers. So your final answer is negative 3, comma, negative 11. Let's go to the next one. All right, we have solve by graphing. Okay, so it looks like they want us to do some more graphing here, okay? So I'm going to ask that you make sure, let me get this out of the way first. Make sure that they're both solved for y, okay? So I'm going to do that first. A lot of you probably have this done already, so I'm going to zip right through this. So if anything, you're just kind of watching so you can get your memory refreshed. So you can maybe catch me doing some more beautiful mistakes. So there's one. Okay, that's one done. Let's go to the next one. Next one is y minus 4 equals x. That one's pretty simple. Plus 4 y equals x plus 4. So now I get to graph these two. Let's graph this one, and then I'm going to graph this one. There are your two equations. These are in good news format, right? So let's graph the top one first, negative 1. Starts right there. Then I'm going to go down 4 over positive 1. There's your answer. And the next one says start at 4. And it says go up 1 over 1. Well, I can only do that. Okay, and I could go back, graph it this way. Now, it looks like my lines are a little off, aren't they? That's because I drew my line crooked. Because watch what would have happened if I had continued doing this one right here. Watch. Let me show you. Right here, I started at negative 1, and then I went down 4, positive 1. Well, I could do it backwards, too. I can go up 4, negative 1. Look, there's the answer right there. It should have been there, but I drew my line really, really crooked. Okay, so let me actually try and redraw this real quick. -1, down 4, +1. And I can go backwards too. Up 4, -1. There's the answer. Okay, I should have drawn the line like that, something like that. That's still crooked. Unbelievable. There's your line this way. And there's your answer right there, okay? Your answer to this problem is -1, comma, +3. -1, +3. Okay, moving on. Tell whether this is a solution. Oh, goodness gracious, this is a super easy problem. Guess what you got to do here? All you got to do is take this point, plug it in here, and tell me if it makes any sense. Okay, that's all it is. So let me take this point, plug in the points now. Remember, the first one's the x, next one's the y. So I'm going to get 3 less than or equal to -2 times 4 minus 5. 3 is less than or equal to, do the do. Hope you did the do. That's -13. Does this make sense? Is 3 less than a -13? Does that make any sense? I hope you said no. Nope. That does not make sense, does it? So this is not a solution. Not a solution. Hope you wrote that down, okay? Moving on, guys. Again, if the guest teacher needs to pause to catch up, then make sure he or she does that. Okay. Okay, it looks like this is one of those graphing ones. And if you're in one of those classes where we kind of did this super fast on that one day, then you're going to have to use this as a review, okay? Oh, there's my cat over there. I'm going to leave her right there. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take both of these. They're not solved for y, so I got to do that first, okay? That's the first thing you need to be doing here. Okay, I got y is greater than 4x minus 6. Okay. Now, I'm going to graph this right now, actually. I'm going to start graphing this. It says start at -6. So there's my point at -6. Then I'm going to go up 4 over 1. Up 4 over 1. There's my answer. Now, here's one thing for you to review, a real quick review here. This type of inequality sign, is that a shaded line? I'm sorry, is that dashed or solid? And you said dashed, right? I hope you said dashed. That is a dashed line. Let me go ahead and draw my dashed line. Okay? And now, everyone except period 3 should know the shortcut. Okay, period 3, you're listening even more closely because I'm going to give you a shortcut for telling me where do you shade. Do you shade below or do you shade above? Period 4 is really good at this, actually. The whole class says it in unison. You'll say it at the same time. Here are the shortcut things, and if you want to write these on your paper as a little side notes, just so you have it, I'm going to give you to say that you shade above. I'm going to make you draw like a little box. Shade above when it's greater than or equal to. Okay? That's when you shade above. This is a shortcut. Instead of putting 0, 0, like I was teaching period 3, I never got to teach you the shortcut. And then you shade below when it's less than or equal to. Okay? If you remember this shortcut, then that'll save you some time. So let's go ahead and shade this first one here. This is going to be, I know period 4 is probably telling the answer to everyone. This means shade above. So I'm going to shade above for the first one, okay? Shade above. So that one's done. Okay, there's my line, done. Let's go ahead and graph the second one now. We're going to do one at a time here. On your test, you're going to have 2 of these problems, and I'm just going to give you a graph, and you're going to have to graph them. So this is great practice for this, okay? So we're going to do divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. Y is less than or equal to -1 over 5. I made it into a fraction, okay, because you can. Look at this x up here. That has like a -1 right in front of it. Minus 4, okay? That means we're going to start at -4, and then our slope is down 1, positive 5. Down 1, positive 5, okay? That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go -4. Let's see, -4. Let me see if I get my -4. Down 1, positive 5. There's my answer right there. Okay, you can keep doing more. Down 1, positive 5. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line, and my line should be what? Solid or dashed? Hope you said solid. If you didn't say solid, that's going to cost you some points on your test. Okay, and now here's for your shortcut. Do you shade up here on top, or do you shade down here on the bottom? And here's a shortcut. Remember, this symbol, look at this inequality sign. And now look at your shortcut that I made you to write up here. This is shading above. This is shading below. Okay, this is below. We're going to do below. So below is going to be, let me shade over here from you. Right there. So do you guys see how it's turning super dark on this little area right there? I'm going to need to see that on your test too, okay? I need to see that it's a double shaded area. You can't really see my hand behind it because it covers. But this little area right here, the dark area, is going to be your answer. Okay? Let's move on. Okay, one more for practice. Guess what? These are both in good news format. I call it good news because, look, you don't have to do any work. They're already done for you. So let's start and graph these. And let's practice a shortcut. So period 3, again, you're paying extra attention because you want to know the shortcut and get to know it really well. So we're going to do the first one. Start at 1, and then go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And am I using a solid or dashed line? I hope you said dashed. I'm going to use my dashed. Okay. All right, period. What kind of shade below or above? The top one says below, so I'm going to shade below for that one. Okay, let's draw another one, the second one. That one says 2, start at -2, and then go down 3, positive 1. Down 3, positive 1. And I'm going to use solid or dashed. Hope you said dash. You got to know that. If you give me the wrong line, I'm going to mark you off on your test. Okay, let me see if that'll work. Ah, that's a bad color to choose. Okay, period 3 should become super experts at this by now. Do I shade above or below for this second one here? And I hope you said shade above. Above. So let's see, this one's a little tricky here. Let me kind of get my hand here. So above, so meaning here's this side's above up here, and over here this side's below. So above is over here, and below is over here. I need a shade up here, above. So let's shade up there. Oh, you can't really tell with that color, can you? Let me use a different color. Oh, there we go. That works better. Kind of better. You can kind of tell where it's changing color, right? Okay, so your answer area on your test, I'm going to need to be able to tell where you shaded twice. It's up here. This is your answer. Okay, your answer is going to be the graph and how you shaded. That's how I know that you did it correctly. Let's go to the next one, guys. We are down to, well, we're probably running out of time now, aren't we? Okay, it looks like we got number 9. Yes, indeed. We're almost done. Move my hand out of the way. Okay, this one's already graphed for you. Now, what do you notice about, I'm going to move it right up here. This one basically says, which of these is the answer? Well, they graphed it for you. Your job is to say, well, is it this one, this one, this one, or this one? Well, you can't tell by looking at this. Actually, you can get rid of 2 answers right away. I'm going to tell you how right now, right away. And I bet you a handful of you already know which 2 you can get rid of right away. And here's a big clue. Look at the type of line that they drew here. This is dashed. Which of these is not for a dashed line? And I hope you said it's D and C, because look, those have inequalities that have solid lines. So guess what? You already eliminated all this work, and now you're down to just 2. Guess what you're going to have to do with these 2 problems here, guys? And I hope you said, Ms. Foa, what we got to do is solve for y. So you're right, you got to solve for y. So let's start with this top one first, the letter A. Minus 3x, minus 3x. Okay, we get negative y greater than negative 3x minus 4. I like to put the x part first. And now look what you got here, guys. Here's the part that's going to get some of you to get wrong answers on a test. There's a negative sign right here. I can't have that negative sign. Now this has like an imaginary 1, so you want to put an imaginary 1 right there. Now what I want you to do is, guess what you're going to have to do with this negative 1? Yep, I heard some of you say, negative 1, divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, everything. Let me move this out of the way here. Okay, my answer, y, something. Negative 3 divided by negative 1, positive 3x. Negative 4 divided by negative 1, positive 4. Wait, what happens here? What happens right there? I hope you said it, Mr. Polo. You got to switch the sign. You're right. Why do I got to switch that inequality sign? Because I divided by a negative number, okay? Please be careful there. Okay, look, before we do this bottom one, the second one, can we check to see if this is actually the answer? And I bet you if this isn't the answer, then I'm not even going to waste my time. I'm going to say this is the answer over here, okay? Let's check. This one says start at 4. Whoa, wait a minute. Where does this one start? At negative 4. Okay, right away I know this isn't even the answer. But just for the sake of doing it, I'm going to start at 4 and then up 3. Well, that doesn't even fit here. Over 1, there's the answer. It's somewhere up here. And it says shade below. Whoa, that doesn't even work. It doesn't even come close. Okay, so right away, I'm going to tell you right now, how do you figure out the other one? You're going to basically solve that one for y. And when you solve it for y, you're going to end up with this. Y is greater than, what is that? 3x minus 4. Okay, and that's the answer. So the answer is B. I just showed you how to get to the answer. Okay, let's do one of these coin problems. We got 2 more and we're done. And you should be experts on coin problems, right, Kat? Yes, Kat's just like staring at me. That guy's scaring me. This guy scares me. Let's get him out of here.
Whoa.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes. Here we go. Marcy has 120 dimes. You should know how to set these up right away. You're going to use dimes and quarters. Dimes plus quarters equals how many? 120. And then I need you to set up, remember from yesterday, you guys did 10 cents for the dime, so 10 cents. You know what I'm going to do actually? Well, I'll do 10 cents like that. Plus 25 quarters equals $18.75. What did I tell you yesterday to do with these decimals? Hopefully you remember. I'm going to move each one twice, twice, twice. So really I'm going to get rid of it, okay? Done, done, done. Just so you know, I didn't want to skip a step. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use elimination. I love elimination. I think it works perfectly for this. I'm going to do times 10, okay? I could have done times 25, but I'd rather do times 10. I'm going to write it right below it. 10d plus 10q equals 100, I'm sorry, not 100, 1,200. Okay, let's subtract down. Got to subtract because if you add down, they won't cancel. Subtract down, that's going to be 0. Subtract down, that's 15q. And I need you to subtract down 1,875. That's 675. And when you divide that by 15, I'm doing the math in my head. 45. Okay? 45 quarters. How do you find out how many dimes? Or actually, is that what they want for an answer? Do they want quarters? Look at your choices. Do they want quarters? Well, let me look at the problem. How many quarters does she have? I don't even have to find out what D is. I'm done. So quarters, you found it. Now, if they had said dimes, then you would have had to take in this Q, and you would have to plug it back in over here, solve for D, and you would have gotten the answer. Okay, guys, last one here. I'm going to go through it super fast, okay? Dimes plus quarters equals 85 of them. And then I have dimes are 10 cents. I'm going to move the decimal already in my head, okay? Plus 25, move the decimal twice already. And 14.95, move the decimal twice already. So I moved everything already. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to get rid of the dimes right away. Look, it's going to help me because watch, what do they want to know? They want to know how many quarters. So now you probably wonder, why am I getting rid of the dimes first? Because I want to know what Q is. Okay, so I'm going to get 10D plus 10Q equals 850. Okay. Oh, there's a cat again. Gotta get rid of the cat. Okay, subtract down. 0, 15Q equals, I got 1,495 minus 850 is 645. And if I divide that by 15, I'm going to do the math in my head because I'm super good at this. Actually, I'm not. 43. Okay, there's your answer. A. All right, guys, that was the entire review. You should know everything frontwards, forwards, backwards, and hopefully you understood every single question. And that's pretty much it. Your test tomorrow has 7 questions that kind of look something like what you had on this review, so no surprises. Okay, if you need to see this video again because you need another explanation, go online, watch it again so that you're ready for your test tomorrow. Okay, and that looks like it's going to be it. I don't believe I have any major homework other than, yes, of course, I'm going to give you some homework. Here's what I'm going to ask for you to do, please. Besides writing this down because you're done with your review, I only have one thing for you to do. I need you to gather all your Chapter 6 notes, please. And I'm going to ask you to gather all your Chapter 5 notes. You're going to turn these in to me stapled. Okay, unless you have a folder, great. You know what I'm going to ask you to do, though, is just do summaries only. I'm going to have you do summaries for only. Summaries for only 4 sections. Okay? I don't have a little summary table of contents for you, but just do summaries for only 4. I'm going to grade you on these 4. So if there are 4 lousy ones, then you get a lousy grade. If there are 4 great ones, then you get a great grade. Some of you tend to get a lot of A pluses on this. Okay, I'm making this super easy on you because I left it at the last minute. I'm only asking for 4 summaries, and I need all your notes tomorrow. Okay, chapters 5 and 6, see what you can find, because some of you have been asking me, what am I going to do with these notes? You're going to turn them in tomorrow, and you're going to tell me which 4 sections you did a summary for. Okay, that's it, guys. Hope you had a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow for sure. I will be back tomorrow, guarantee it. All right, bye.